going on, folks? Happy Thursday to you. Coming at you, wanting to go over a few things. Number one, Paul Allen passed away. The owner of the Seattle Seahawks and Portland Trail Blazers. He was 65 years old, passed away from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The guy was a billionaire. That's with a B. And he had no kids, no wife, nobody to leave it to. They spoke with his sister. His sister has no intention of taking over the team, so more than likely what will happen is they'll be sold, and I'm guessing the money would go to her if he didn't specify that any of it would be left to specific charities that he was fond of. He had donated billions to charities. He was worth in the hundreds of billions of dollars. So, who knows how that will happen. Basically, how he got his money was he helped form Microsoft with Bill Gates back in the day. He dropped out of college, convinced Bill Gates to drop out of college, and they used to dumpster dive and steal code and pretty much come up with the concept and the whole inner workings there of Microsoft, and the rest, they say, is history. But it's tragic nonetheless. He was diagnosed with this a while back, so he has been living with it for quite a while. It's not nothing new, but a tragic loss nonetheless. How would that impact the teams there? How would that impact Seattle? How would that impact the Portland Trail Blazers? He also owned those guys too. That remains to be seen. We'll see how that plays out. Opening night of the NBA. I guess that was 2 nights ago. LeBron's opening night of the NBA. It was last night, which they did lose. I was kind of shocked at that, but it is what it is. I'm not a big NBA guy, but I do follow enough to kind of know what's going on. I'm pulling for LeBron to do good up there in LA. No need to hate. No need to hate on the man. Football news, you had the Denver Broncos put an absolute damn shellacking on Arizona last night. Arizona, I'm not sure what Steve Wilkes is doing, but maybe he just wants to come on back to Carolina and be our defensive coordinator or something, because obvioushis head coaching theories don't seem to be working out too good down there in Denver, or Arizona rather. So, but another news, the fan that threw the beer on Tyreek Hill after his touchdown last week is supposedly been ID'd and prosecuted and banned from coming back to Gillette Stadium to ever be in another Patriots game again, which is good. They needed to do that. That was a classless move, throwing the beer in a man's face. I don't even think that giving him the finger is probably the best thing to do, since there is kids at these games and stuff like that, and I'm sure probably yelling profanity and obscenity. But even if you want to give him the finger, that's one thing. That's not touching or doing something to make it touch him type deal, throwing things, etc. You have no right nor reason to actually want to touch the player or throw something on the player. Just doesn't need to come to that. And I'm behind Tyreek Hill 100% to have this guy prosecuted, because he did not have the right to do that. And that's the perception, that when you see that on TV, you get that their whole fan base is like that. And believe me, there are a lot of prick Patriot fans. But there are some good ones. I work with a few good ones. I live in the neighborhood with a few good ones. So that they're out there. But you got jackasses like that put a bad taste on it for everybody else. But that's kind of what I want to talk about today, folks, was perception. Perception of how somebody acts when you don't really know the full story. You don't really know everything that's going on, but yet you're going to make your opinion based off that. Now, since we're on the Patriots, we'll start with the Patriots. Get a water here. Tom Brady. Obviously he's a very accomplished football player. Numerous Super Bowls, MVPs. Amazing record, especially at home. Great record in the playoffs or whatever. But I remember about a couple years ago. I'm not sure the year to be specific. I'm almost 100% sure they were playing the Redskins, but I drink a lot, folks. So, I may forget. He was having a bad game, and he proceeds to stand up and just go down the line and start cussing people out. Now, this was not a pep talk, folks. This was UMF or blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was letting them hold it. There was no nice, hey, man, step your game up, buddy, type stuff here. He was giving them up the road, all right? And this included his coach. Not his head coach, but his offensive coordinator. A little time after that, there was a game against the Jets. I think that was on a Thursday night game where I want to say it was raining pretty bad, and he was yelling at his offensive line, and again, not trying to pump him up, not trying to boost him, but he was yelling. He was sending them up the road pretty good. And the announcers, when they were talking about it, if they did talk about it, I don't even think they talked about the first one, but the one with the Jets, look at Tom Brady, he's firing up his teammates, blah, blah, blah. That's horse shit. All right, he was cussing them out. He was not firing anybody up. He was cussing them out. He was belittling them. And that's what the hell he does when things aren't going his way. He gets pissed off, which most people will do. He's not the only one. But yet in the media, it's portrayed as he's trying to fire up his team and what a competitor and all that. But then you step over to the flip side of that, and you have an Odell Beckham Jr. who's pissed off on the sidelines, and he's knocking a damn air conditioner or whatever. I'm still not sure why he did that, but, punching an air conditioner or kicking a soccer goal or whatever it is he's doing, kicking net, and, your perception of him is always a distraction to the team, and he's this, and he's that. Well, he could be. Des Bryant could have been labeled the same way. That man, got up and done it with passion and all that, and yelled a little bit. Do you want to put that as, causing separation, or why can't that be firing up the teammates? Why can't that do it when he's almost has his hands out in the why, what are we doing style type deal here? Why can't that be considered that? Is it because Brady wins and those guys don't? Same thing could be said for Cam Newton. When he sits back and he's got the towel on his head, he's mad. He's upset because he lost, which he doesn't really do that anymore. He was a little pissed when he won the Super Bowl. He had his head down. He didn't like the fact that he was getting interviewed right behind a Denver Bronco when they were asking him questions about winning the Super Bowl. This man just lost the biggest game of his life, and you're going to put him in a damn interview separated by a curtain by Denver Broncos players. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. He's got to act like he's done this, act like he's done this. That's a little bit aggravating. It's a little bit classless by the NFL. I don't remember ever seeing any damn body else having to do an interview like that was a quarterback of the losing team. They were in a room somewhere off to the side and a bank of microphones where they had to talk and nobody else was around them. They want to pop up a fucking tent and basically try to interview my guy up there and figure out what the hell went wrong when he can hear the damn team celebrating. That's probably not the best situation to do it in. But anyways, I didn't mean to get off on a rant on that. That's neither here nor there. But you know what I think when I see that, though? If I'm paying my quarterback $100 and some odd million over, 6 years, 7 years, whatever the case is, whatever the contract states, I want to see some passion. I want to see him pissed off. I want to see him mad when he's losing. I want to see him firing everybody up. I want to see a look of disgust on his face if he looks up there to that damn scoreboard and we're not winning by 1 or 2 scores. I don't want a Jay Cutler who just don't give a damn. I've seen that sumbitch go out here and throw 5 picks and then just go sit down like he ain't got a care in the world, because he don't. Maybe that's what you want to spend your money on, folks. I don't. I want to see some passion, and however that passion comes through, that's on the individual. But I want to see something to let me know that you're upset that you're losing. Because at least to me, that still shows you got drive for the game. I'm not questioning Tom Brady's drive by any means. Obviously, the man's good. Obviously, he's got the drive. Obviously, he still knows how to play the game of football. Played a phenomenal game the other week. Kansas City, by all intents and purposes, had him on the ropes. But Brady is Brady, and he did what Brady did. Now, when things doesn't go Brady's way, that's when he tends to get into that, jumping up and down mode and, where he's a little bit rough on the other players. So I guess the question is, folks, is winning and accomplishing things in life, does that give you the ability to show out on the sidelines when need be, when permitted? Now, granted, you don't see this happen for Brady a lot, but you don't see the Patriots lose a lot either. A team that's maybe not quite up to snuff as the Patriots is going to be in a little bit more tight situations more often than not. So does winning excuse that kind of behavior? If the Giants were sitting right now at 4-1 or 5-1, would everybody be saying this about Odell? If he was, showing out and they were winning, would they care? They want to talk he's bad, he's a cancer to the locker room or whatever. Folks, Odell Beckham Jr. didn't play last year, and the Giants still sucked. So he's playing this year. They added another playmaker with Saquon Barkley, and guess what? They're sucking again. Maybe you ought to look at, it ain't him that's the damn problem. It's your quarterback. Or maybe it's your head coach. Or maybe it's your GM. Because you take away a dynamic player, you figure when you get him back, your production will go up, your scores will go up, you'll win more games. You put him in there, and you're still losing. All right, and a lot of that's got to do with the fact that you seem like you're scared to throw a ball 5 yards down the field, but hey, neither here nor there. Dez Bryant's not on a team right now, but he was another one that I could think of that wore his emotions on his sleeve over there on the sideline. Steve Smith did it quite a bit. Nobody wanted to say anything to him. They're probably scared to get punched in the eye socket. Just ask Ken Lucas. So does winning excuse these actions? As long as you're winning, you can do and say whatever the hell you want, cuss out your coach and all that, and that's okay. And if it's not okay, then we've got to check ourselves, because that's what we're letting kids think when we see Tom Brady do it in the media. Oh, look at Tom Brady. He's firing up his teammates. So when the kid in your eye sees that, oh, well, Tom Brady did it, so he can go, cuss out his whole fucking teammate and his coach and everything else. And it says, well, son, what are you doing? What makes you think you can do that? Well, Tom Brady did it, and they said he was firing up his teammates. That's what we're teaching these people today, these young kids. That's what we're teaching them. And it's horseshit. It's horseshit. Tom Brady's nothing more than somebody that cries if it don't go his way. I've never seen more ticky-tacky calls when it comes to damn Patriots games, and people even breathing near the guy. The hot dog vendor the other day got a flag for being too close to Tom Brady. Jesus, he was in fucking, section 215, row B. Serving somebody a hot dog. Got a damn flag on the plate for getting too close to Tom Brady. I ain't never seen anything like it. That's just my take on it, the perception of that. Perception also can go many other ways. If you step over here and talk about Dabo Swinney for a minute, a lot of people's perception of him is always this, always that. I personally like the man. I think the movie made with Kelly Bryant was good on his part, because he saved Kelly Bryant from being able to go and transfer and play other places, keep his name in the spotlight. The deal with Nick Saban, what he had with his quarterback situation up there in Alabama was a little different. Those guys are in the national championship game. They're pretty much getting roughhoused by Georgia, and that they're doing seems to be working. So at halftime, they make the adjustment. They bring out Tua Tulava or Tulu, whatever the hell his name is. And, obviously, if you've seen the game, if you didn't, you missed a hell of a game. Great comeback, great win, great walk-off touchdown. And, after that, the rest is history. So Harris kind of knew that he probably wasn't going to get that game back, or the starting gig back. Clemson said